So as we're coming up to the rig, a couple things for our partners and prospective partners. First thing we're coming into is BOPs. So blowout preventers. If you can just I'm going to hand you the mic. We'll explain what the BOP system setup is, the motors we use, mud pumps, and just work our way across the drill floor, if that's okay. And I'll just kind of hand you the mic, kind of let you explain a little bit. We'll follow behind you.
Okay. Well, what we walked up on right now is the accumulator, and this is the controls for the BOP. The BOP are actually sitting on the well, the equipment that you would close the well in case of a kick or a blowout. But you would all this runs off electricity and hydraulics, and these are maintained, tested periodically. There's even regulations from the state that we have to meet minimum requirements for accumulators and BOPs. That's where you see the steel lines going under the floor to the BOP. Of course, that's fuel tank for the whole rig. We on a job like this, we run anywhere from 700 to 1,000 gallons of fuel a day to run the rig.
700 to 1,000 gallons a day.
Triplex pumps that move the drilling fluid from the top of the ground through the drill string, around the outside of the drill string, back to the surface, which does two or three things. It keeps heavy enough fluid in the well to hold back any abnormal pressure and to hold back any sloughing shale or any part of the hole that might want to cave in. It also cools the hole, cools the bit, keeps it in better operating condition, and it circulates the cuttings out of the hole that we're actually drilling to make the hole. So as when we finished up here, we were running about 2,000 psi on our pumps to move about seven barrels a minute of fluid through the drill string. This particular rig, you can see it's trailer mounted. The rig itself, the Derrick, everything with that substructure is on a trailer.
Yeah.
You can see where they hook to it right there when they get ready to move it.
Yes, sir.
When you first start the well at the top of the ground, the greatest function of your drilling mud is to just clean the hole, just to get the, when you're digging with a shovel, you got to do something with the dirt you're getting out. Same with the cuttings. But as you get deeper, you have to take other things into consideration, like how your fresh water affects some of these shales.
Yeah.
Some of these shales that we drill through are very water sensitive. And so we have to put chemicals in there to coat the formation that we're drilling, so the fresh water doesn't penetrate them and then give us hole problems that we can't get in and out of.
Well, that brings up a good point. In addition to your experience, reports we've seen from the other wells, we also have a mud engineer.
That's correct.
So what is it? Can you explain what a mud engineer and why, in pertaining to what you were just saying, that's such an important role?
A mud engineer is he's a trained technician that comes out, well, on a job like this once a day. If it gets more complicated, he may come more, but he's like the doctor that prescribes what the well bore needs today.
Okay.
And so every day he'll come out here and he'll write a report of what's in the tanks and what's coming out of the hole, and then he'll write a prescription of what we need to do to either maintain what we've got or to change it if it needs it.
Okay.
So he's the major mud companies. Being a mud engineer is a pretty technical job, and that's why you've got a mud engineer designated to do it, because it takes a lot of training and experience to keep the mud with the characteristics we need today.
Great. So all the mud that we're making, show us where the mud goes.
All right.
And what we do with the mud and how we put it down the earth.
All right, come on. Once these tanks are full, then you can see the big line coming to the bottom of that tank right there, goes to that mud pump.
Yes, sir.
That's the suction to that mud pump. So whenever you get ready to start, you kick that pump in, it's going to start pumping mud down this line, down this steel line. It's eventually
right there on the 90, right?
Well, now that's to the end. Now it comes up there and it ties in up there. See the gooseneck up there?
Yep, I do. Where the yellow looks like a candy cane up top.
That's right. All right, follow this hose.
All right.
Comes through this hose. That's a swivel right there. While we're drilling, this swivel will be hooked to that traveling block.
Yep.
All right, you're gonna be pumping mud through that hose, down that swivel. That Kelly is 40 feet long, it's in that shuck. And it's gonna be screwed onto the drill string. So that mud is gonna be going through that Kelly, into the drill pipe, all the way to the bottom of the drill pipe, regardless how deep you are. Then it's gonna come out on the outside of that drill pipe, and it's gonna flow into this flow line right here, this big pipe right here.
Yep.
It's gonna flow back into that flow line. It's gonna come across this shaker, where it's gonna, those screens.
So what you're saying, the earth that we cut out with the mud we're putting in the well, the earth and the mud come in here.
That's right.
From the very bottom, they come all the way back up the surface, and here's where you start cleaning the material out of the earth, right?
That's right, that's right. So all this fluid will go run across these screens. Of course, this shaker will be shaking.
Yeah.
And it'll be vibrating. Anything that won't go through that screen will shake off at the end of it and end up in our reserve pit out there.
Now, when we're talking about mud logging, now this is where we will actually gather the samples that we're analyzing. So how do we know the results from our mud log are legitimate? They're scooping up small samples straight out as it comes out of the earth.
That's right.
And that is what they analyze to see where we are.
That's right, but they have to know at what depth those samples came from.
Right.
Those samples you see right there didn't just get drilled. They got drilled an hour and a half ago.
Yes, sir.
That's why the mud logger, from time to time, he will drop a little bit of carbide or something in the drill pipe to measure how long it takes that carbide to make the circulation.
And that is called the lag, right?
That's called the lag time.
All right, perfect. Well, I tell you what, if we can safely get on the floor for just a second.
Sure.
Show us the rotary table and what we have going on.
All right, kind of picking back up where we left off with the Kelly a while ago.
Yeah.
When you're circulating through the Kelly, those bushings right there, when you make it up in the string, you see how the bottom of those Kelly bushings match that rotary table? They will fit in that rotary table. You got a chain and a sprocket turning that rotary table, which in turn turns the Kelly. You see the Kelly can go up and down through the bushings, and that's why you're able to turn and slack off and pick up all at the same time. Right here is where the driller operates everything whenever we're making it.
Show the panel right here for me. This is the controls he uses to get the bit going down hole.
That's right. He can make the box go up and down. He's got valves here to operate his pumps. Everything comes to right here so that the driller can stand right here and operate the whole rig.
And we're going in right now with wirelining tools.
That's right. That's right. Now you can imagine right now the hole is full of mud. You can see it in the top of the BOPs right here. And there you can see better from right here where this bell nipple is connected, where the mud returns and goes back down to the shaker. Of course, all this pipe you see in the Derrick, is all screwed together when you're 9,800 feet deep. So when we get ready to go back in the hole, one stand at a time and screw it together, go in the ground.
Mr. Allen, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate the tour of the rig and kind of what we're doing.
My pleasure.